Welcome to Faith in 5, a weekly video devotional designed to discuss practical spiritual concepts in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mark Vandella. This one time I was on the beach with a group of students in Miami, and we just had set up shop. We were settling in. We picked a spot right next to the lifeguard station because as students go in the water and as people wander off to go get snow cones or whatever it is, we wanted to have this landmark for them to be able to come back to. And just as we got comfortable and we were starting to kind of lay out our towels and, flick sand in people's face and things like that, this lady came running up frantically to the lifeguard station. She's screaming, she's wailing, and she's yelling about how she's lost her son. And so she's freaking out, and everybody's now taking note. Like, it was kind of cool to see all of our students perk up and get ready to spring into action, right? Like, we're ready to hold hands and walk into the ocean and help this lady find her son. So she's causing this huge scene. People are gathering. The lifeguard is now asking some questions. What does he look like? What is your son? When did you last see him? Where is your little beach campsite, right? Where are you set up? And just as he asks that question, a little boy kind of pushes through the crowd that has now gathered. And he says, Mom, I'm right here. And so you could see the mom, the relief that came across her face, but that quickly turned to rage. And interestingly enough, she grabs her son and she says, why did you run away? Why did you wander off? Don't ever do that again. And he says, Mom, I didn't. Our stuff is down there. I heard you yelling and screaming. I came as fast as I could. Our stuff is down there. And so what happened to this lady is she went out into the ocean, and as she was playing and just laying in the water or whatever, she actually drifted. And so she drifted from one lifeguard stand down to the next lifeguard stand. And when she came back up the beach, she couldn't find her stuff. She couldn't find her son, and she assumed that something had happened to her son. So this story leads me to our first series, really, with Faith in 5. We're doing a series on relationships. And I tell that story because it's so easy in our relationships, whether it's an intimate relationship with a spouse or a friend or a family member, it's so easy to drift, right? It's so easy to just go about life and go about things and do your everyday, and all of a sudden you've drifted a ways apart or a ways down the road, and you're no longer at where you prefer to be or where you hope to be or where you plan to be. And so I want to share a verse. It's a simple verse that oftentimes is used when we talk about money. It's Matthew 6:21, and it says, "Where your treasure is, your heart will also be." And so I bring that verse up because I think it's so easy for us to just coast and not be intentional and not invest. And so this verse is essentially saying, if you invest, where you invest is where your heart will be, and vice versa. Where your heart is also where you should invest. And so instead of letting other things like life and getting up and going to work and kids and hobbies and all that stuff help us drift, we need to be intentional about our relationships. We need to continue to engage them. And so wherever you're at, in whatever key relationships you have, I want to ask you to rate those relationships. Maybe come up with 3 relationships that are key in your life. And rate each one based on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 is, we're on the rocks. Things are just not good. We are definitely in a bad spot. Right in the middle, 3 is that we're drifting. Right, I just kind of walked into the ocean and slowly, I'm not exactly sure where we are. And then a 5 on the scale is that it's the best day at the beach, right? We just set up, we're comfortable, sunscreen's on, and we're just going to kick back and enjoy each other's company. Like I said, pick 3 relationships and evaluate that. And so I would say with those 3 relationships, take 3 steps. First, evaluate. And then envision. Envision where you want that relationship to be, right? You got to know where it's at first, and then know where you want it to be. And so if you want it to be by this lifeguard stand, and it's not currently by that lifeguard stand, what are you going to do about it? So the third step is to engage it, right? Do something. So this week, it's pretty simple. Just consider where you want your relationships to be and then invest in them, because when you invest, your heart will also be there. So evaluate, engage, or envision, and then engage those relationships. And your relationships will improve. You'll no longer just be drifting. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to follow us each week, click here to subscribe. And if you want to take it a little bit further, click here for discussion materials.